Happy Monday. Welcome to Bet On It. I'm Kelly Stewart. Let's bring in Marco D'Angelo and Joe Raineri for a little Monday Night Football action. Before we get there, I think we all split best bets this weekend, but I would not like to take the L on West Virginia and my best bet from the college section because just, my God, Sonny Dykes, what that was just so unnecessary. So we're just going to pretend like that didn't happen. Otherwise, it's going to ruin this week as well. Got lucky, maybe, if you want to say it that way, with the Packers last night. I guess in some form or fashion, that Packers defense came to play since the refs wanted to take away a touchdown from the Packers anyway. Doesn't matter how you look at it. I'm very happy to cash a ticket after how horrific my Saturday was. Marco, how was your weekend?
Well, Kelly, I was with you on Saturday with that West Virginia debacle, and I happen to tell you guys that it's a good thing I have a habit. When I'm doing live radio, I shut TVs off so that I don't have happen what happened in that game, because that would have been my last live radio broadcast because I was on the air on a Nebraska station when that.
Are you saying you would have pulled a me and dropped an F-bomb just live on air?
I would have dropped F-bombs, and I would have made some non-PC comments to the West Virginia community. I would have been, it would not have been good. I was not happy when I saw that at the end of my broadcast and had to go back and see what the hell happened. And I still don't have any words for it. But
so I may get some grief for this one, but I do not have DirecTV anymore. I do not have cable. I use a YouTube TV streaming service because I like it that I can log in anywhere and get TV. But the one downside is it's delayed. And I got 3 or 4 texts, WTF, what just happened, and all of a sudden, and then I look up, and then it's happening live. So on my TV, let's say it's 20 seconds behind, but I knew something very, very bad was about to happen. So I think it made me feel even worse watching it, just anticipating like what could go wrong here. And basically, I just needed a first down by West Virginia. Kill the clock, take a knee, anything other than a 30-yard touchdown pass. But that's okay. We're on to this week. It's a new week, even though I really don't think a sports betting week starts until Tuesday, but that's beside the point. Joe Raineri, I know that your best bet that I tailed as well, those divisional unders, not so great yesterday. They went, I believe, 2 and 3. I think one's tonight. So they went 2 and 2 yesterday. We have tonight divisional under, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But you had the under in LA. My God.
Yeah, that was a great way to end that, wasn't that? So it was. Thanks very much, Rams, for playing absolutely zero defense there. Because they added just about what I thought they were going to add offensively, but they gave up just. How does a guy rush for a touchdown, throw for a touchdown, and catch a touchdown in the same game? And I don't and all of a sudden his former team gets better. I don't know how that happens, but Saturday was good. Illinois was the best bet. That was a good one there. The Louisville barking dog was also good as they trounced Wake Forest doing their Breast University of Miami impersonation. And I got crap for going against not only my New York Jets, but you notice, Cal, my Oklahoma State Cowboys here, because I wanted nothing to do with either of those two teams. You just knew it was going to catch up with them, right? At some point, they were going to have to answer for all the bounces that went their way. Oklahoma State paid dearly against Kansas State, and the New York Jets finally got caught once again there with the New England Patriots. So, much as I love them, I got no problem making money betting against them either, Cal.
Yeah, Joe, when you gave out K-State first half, I joined you on that one, but I didn't trust my Kansas State Wildcats given all sorts of crazy, is Adrian Martinez playing, is Will Howard playing, they're both hurt, who's not hurt, and usually we can get some of the best information, but they were pretty tight-lipped on it, so much so that Marco said 2 different K-State beat writers tweeted out 2 opposite things at essentially the same time. I thought I got lied to. I didn't. My source was correct that Will Howard would be the starter. Marco, I did cut you off when we were talking about Saturday, but one thing we were talking about before you told me the good things that happened, you and I joked on the show that we both really liked Kentucky. Kentucky became that square, like, I forget what you call it. Basically, when like every handicapper, whether it's on WagerTalk, whether it's on Twitter, doesn't matter. Everybody likes Kentucky this week.
It did. And you know what, Kelly? It's, if you remember when Penn State went to Michigan, Penn State was the popular dog with everybody, the fashionable dog. UCLA against Oregon. And when we did the show that week, I said, that was the TV preview. I said, I'm staying away from that. I just don't trust UCLA here because I think they're going to end up being that popular dog, and they were. And this week, oh my God, I did not talk to a single sharp that didn't have Kentucky. And what was funny about it is guys that never talk about sandwich spots and things like that and look ahead games.
Oh,
because
boy.
Because it fit their narrative this week because they liked Kentucky. They brought up the Georgia game for Tennessee on deck. Oh, you never talk about that any other time, but if it suits you, we'll throw that in. Oh, this is a trap, look ahead, all that. I knew we were in trouble.
Yeah, Marco, I was at a Halloween party, and it was on. And I sat right there, and I watched Kentucky score that touchdown, missed that PAT, and I go, okay, well, we're going to see Tennessee right down the field, touchdown. And that was about all she wrote. I mean, at that point in time, I'm not saying that missed PAT changed the entire dynamic of the game, but I am saying that was the only bright spot was that initial touchdown from Kentucky. They just got boat raced by that Tennessee offense. We'll see how that Tennessee offense does against Georgia this weekend. I'm excited to talk about that one on Wednesday. But first, we got to get to Monday Night Football. I'll go first. As Ralph mentioned on TNA, these divisional teams to the under this year have absolutely been rock and rolling, but they did go 2-2 so far this weekend. So I'm looking at the under 45. I'm really kicking myself, Marco. This is twice this week that I did a show and the line moved mid-show. I just did money shots with Megan, and I said, I like the Browns here at 3.5. I look at the WagerTalk odds screen, all the 3.5s are gone. It's been 3.5 since Friday afternoon. Mm-hmm. What was I waiting for? I don't know. I did bet this under when Ralph gave out the TNA, so I am on the under tonight. But I do still lean towards the Brownies here. Marco, you're the AFC North guy, if you will. I feel like these games are always 3. Always. Whether it's the Bengals and the Ravens, whether it's the Steelers and the Browns, it doesn't matter. The game comes out 3. We saw this one come out 2.5, go all the way up to 3.5, now back to 3. Your thoughts on Monday Night Football?
Yeah, every time you see the 3.5, it's going to get grabbed back to 3. It's going to be one of those where the public's probably going to push it to 3.5 or at least 3 with added juice, and the sharps will come in and take the dog. But I have seen action both ways in this game as far as, respected people that I talk to. I'm on the Cleveland side here. And the reason for it, I'm going to start with Cincinnati. Cincinnati, all of a sudden looks like they're back. They won 4 of their last 5 games. But let's really break it down. Who have they beaten? Let's start with they beat the Jets. Remember, when they played the Jets, that was when Joe Flacco was still the quarterback. Not the same thing. Not that I think Zach Wilson is going to be a Hall of Famer anytime soon, but, just obviously he can move around and create other things. And we saw what the Jets did recently. The other game they beat Miami. Hey, Miami's a good team. Well, if you remember, that's the game Tua went out in the first quarter. So that's tainted. And then how about the other 2 wins? The Saints, they've been a mess until this past weekend. And then Atlanta, although Atlanta had been a point spread darling, they're still losing football games. So I'm not impressed with what Cincinnati has done. Now we look at the Browns. And do I have to say any more about them? Because we've been on the losing side of them a few times this year, and it's been thanks to Stefanski with some of those horrendous calls. But you know what? Now they're 2-5, okay? This is almost a must-win game. They have nothing to lose. So you know what? Go ahead and roll the dice all you want because you have to. You got to win this game. And I think that actually makes them dangerous tonight. They should have success running the football against Cincinnati. On the flip side to that, Cincinnati should have a lot of success running the football as well against this Cleveland Browns defense. I'm not a prop player, but if I'm a prop guy, I would be looking real hard at a lot of running back props tonight because I think you're going to see a lot of yardage from both sets of running backs, Cincinnati and Cleveland, of course, with their 2-headed monster with Chubb and Hunt. All that said, I'm going to go ahead and take Cleveland. They have a 4-game losing streak. During that 4-game losing streak, they've been on the wrong side of the turnover margin, 9-3. You're not going to win football games in the National Football League with that kind of discrepancy. The other thing is, if you throw out the loss to New England, they had 4 turnovers in that one game. The other 4 losses they have this season have all been by 3 points or less. Or if you want to add it all up, the 4 losses, not including New England, by a grand total of 9 points. That bodes well for taking a home underdog tonight. That's where I'm going. I'm taking Cleveland. 27-24 Brownies.
All right, Marco thinks they can get the outright win. Cincinnati just 1-7 against the spread on the road in Monday Night Football. No Jamar Chase. Now, I do want to clarify something. When Ralph gave out the divisional totals, I got under 47. It is currently pretty much 45 across the board at the WagerTalk odds screen, so be very cautious there. Joe, I'm with Marco. I lean towards a primetime home dog here, but again, kicking myself. Could have had 3 in the hook, didn't get it. Also, I don't like having multiple needs in a game. Things I need to be correlated, which I do think the Browns are correlated to the under. But sometimes you get in that wonky position where, okay, well, in order for the Browns, I need them to score here. Well, then that kills my under. So it gets really difficult. So I'm just going to stick with the under, but I'd love to know who you like in terms of the side, and are you getting involved in the total at all?
Well, you know I'm going to get in the total because it's a Monday night game, and let's be realistic. Nobody wants to watch this game in its entirety, so of course I'm going to look in the first half. But, you know, to your point, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Divisional unders this year, 27-12, 69%. Primetime unders, 15-9, 63%. We saw this open up wide. I mean, it was 45, it shot up to 47, then the Chase news came in, and now it's been back down to 45. The thing that scares me about the full game total here is Jacoby Brissett gets turnover prone in the final 5 minutes or 7 minutes of a game. Not to mention that Stefanski, I don't know if the shrooms kick in the fourth quarter and all of a sudden he forgets where he's at and he starts calling these just most unbelievable plays. You're not going to be able to replace Chase. I think that's a bigger problem for the Bengals than some people think it is. I also think Kareem Hunt's probably not playing in this game, guys. And if he does, he's probably not playing a lot if he is on the trading block like everyone thinks he is. So it's going to be the Chubb show. It's going to be a running fest. And I think if this game is going to open up, it's going to open up in the second half. It's 22.5 in the first half. I do think both teams need to establish Joe Mixon, and you better establish the run here against this Cincinnati front, because the more you ask Jacoby Brissett to do, the more dangerous it gets as that game goes on. I don't want to be holding a full game under ticket and watching Brissett have to come from behind and throw a pick six in the final 2 minutes, and it kills it. So, you know me, Cal, I'm looking at that first half. I think running is a big part of what's going on here tonight. Check the wind. They're saying 10 mile an hour or more possibly here by kickoff. So it's got running game written all over it. I am backing that. I am going under in the first half.
Love to hear that we're all pretty much in agreement. I have under 47. Joe likes first half under 22.5. Marco likes the Browns. I also like the Browns, but yes, I do have my concerns with Jacoby Brissett being that turnover machine. Unfortunately, that was interesting about the Kareem Hunt thing. That was something I hadn't heard, and of course, it's all over Twitter. All you got to do is pay a little attention. That search bar is your friend, Kelly. Come on. Talk about being prepared for Monday Night Football. Marco, at Marco in Vegas. Joe, at Joe Raineri. Me, at Kelly in Vegas. And of course, our great producer, Dan, at Newbie Talks. Look at those Eagles. How about those Eagles, guys? Aren't we so happy for him? I even wore green today. Shout out to him. I'm happy for all the success in Philly. Kind of like the first 5 over tonight in the baseball game. I know that sounds weird, but that's the play Ariel Epstein gave me on her way to the airport. Let's cash some tickets tonight, guys. Until Wednesday, from Marco, Joe, and myself, let's bet on it.
Boo! Yes, it's the final week of October, which means we have the World Series, college football, the NFL, NHL action, the NBA, UFC, soccer, and let's not forget about that college basketball right around the corner. Since we're almost obliged to have a Halloween commercial, let's make it a scary good one. Until midnight on October 31st, no costume is required to get a 31% discount on one all-access package of your choice at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo using coupon code BOO31 at checkout. This coupon will save you over $12 on a one-day all-access that includes any 5% plays. And it'll also save you over $18 off a 3-day all-access. Or why not go big and save over $90 off a 30-day all-access? Or perhaps take over business for the next year by saving over $600 with a 12-month all-access package, coming out to just $3.77 per day for the next 365 days. Coupon code BOO31 expires at midnight on Halloween. But remember to use it wisely, as this coupon can only be used once at WagerTalk and once at Sports Memo. From my friend and I, happy Halloween.